When you look at him today, you talked a little bit about how come October, if there was a need to maybe push him, that would potentially be a part of the conversation. Would that start today, or was that something that would start come October?
That could start today. Yeah, we've had good conversations. Obviously you've got to watch the game and see how it plays out. But if all goes well, we'd love to see him get into that sixth inning and through that sixth inning.
Considering this is likely just his final start of the season, when you look at what his build-up has looked like, kind of how the stuff has been playing, and considering how excellent it was in his last outing, have you just been kind of seeing what he's really capable of on the mound?
Yeah, I think so. I think that, just seeing Shohei's kind of, obviously the performance over the last 3 or 4 starts, there's been a ramp up of intensity, performance, and I think that was his plan, and he even mentioned it. He's done with sort of that spring training mindset, and he's in playoff mode. So, this is going to be his last start before the postseason. So he's going to lay it all out there and pitch well, and we need to win this ball game.
With that being said, a week from today is game 1 of the wild card series beginning. What's the likelihood that he starts a week from today?
We don't know yet. I think that it just kind of gives us some options, but the likelihood of him starting a playoff game in that first series are very high.
What gave you guys the comfort to go from 5 to 6 innings?
I think it's just more of, I mentioned it, after his last start, just kind of being able for him to see it, for us to see it, to give us a little bit more options in the postseason, and to kind of reach a marker that we haven't reached up to this point, and just feeling like we've got a really, really solid base. And for me, the conversations, and I just don't like the bait and switch, and so I feel really good with the conversation I had with Shohei about how today could potentially play out.
If you guys went on like a longer run, like how delicate is that balance going to be between still trying to protect the summer, but also trying to like get the most production you can out of them on both sides of the ball?
I think that this is me talking to the training staff, talking to Shohei, feeling like we've got a really good base now. And I think that there's a lot of innings that are still out there to be had. So, once we get to the postseason, it's about, winning. So, there's a reckless part of it, which I don't think we'll broach that point, but to think that, us pushing him in a certain capacity or game, I can see something like that.
If he is able to get to like 6 innings in a postseason setting, what can that open up to you in terms of options in the postseason, in terms of like fewer guys being able to go to, fewer innings to cover, stuff like that?
It's big, and as you guys know, I mean, when you're in the postseason, the familiarity with another arm, taking down another inning, resting a guy, to getting a different matchup, all that stuff matters. So any extra inning you can get with your most talented pitchers is a benefit.
You guys were able to work around the extra rest that Yamamoto needed last postseason. Does that get more complicated when you have 2 guys who might need that? Does the extra starters you guys have make that a little bit easier?
I don't think it makes it more complicated because we have, essentially 6 guys that we trust to take down starts. I think last year it was a lot more difficult, but I think this year, with the options that we have starting games, I think that we feel really good about that.
Yama said he was going to pitch him on 4 days rest. Like I think back to like the All-Star game. Is that something you guys could consider as a postseason environment too, depending on how things go?
Yeah. I think everything should be on the table. The main thing is that Yamamoto's open to it, which is great. But you also have to think about the other alternatives and what that would look like going on, short rest for him. So again, we have a lot of viable options, but again, the most important thing is that he's willing to do whatever he can for the ball club.